Welcome back, gorgeous. You've got me up close and personal today because we're all about having a growth mindset. In fact, that's another podcast episode right there. But you've spoken and said it'd be nicer to be in a closer conversation. So let me know if you like this new video, this filming kind of style. So today I want to talk about energy. It's one of the first places I start with my clients. And in fact, we start in a place generally looking at what are the energy suckers in our life, or what I like to call our de-energizers. Now, de-energizers can be everything from like the kitchen drawer that sticks, or the pile of paperwork that you've just been meaning to get around to tackling, right through to a tricky conversation that you've been procrastinating about and putting off. And the impact of de-energizers is they tend to make us feel either disappointed or frustrated with ourselves, guilty, or anxious, particularly in the case of something where we know we're procrastinating about a hard conversation. And I like to think of them like runners on a circular track, because how they occur for us is they come into our brain and then we're focusing on something else, and then they come back round again, maybe the next time we're in the kitchen and trying to get that drawer unstuck. And each time they suck us of energy, even the really little things, because we think, God, if I am not even up for fixing the kitchen drawer, who am I to think I'm up for the big things in life? So I find that actually tackling our de-energizers is a really great place to start in order to free up energy that we can then put into more productive and empowering places in our life.
Makes sense. How would someone gain clarity and assess the de-energizers in their life then?
Yeah, great question. So I recommend literally just taking out a blank piece of paper and doing a big de-energizer dump and capturing them there. And you'll find then as you create that blank piece of paper, or if you're more technological than I am, on your iPad, phone or computer. I just like handwriting, but that's another story. So getting that blank document out and writing them down is the best place to start, and just keeping on going. You'll find more and more crop up. It's not a static thing. We don't deal with all of our de-energizers. We're human. We just create more as we go along typically. So just writing them all down is the first place to start.
So once someone has assessed the de-energizers in their life, how should they go about tackling those and making their life a little bit more light?
I like to think of the 4 Ds for this. And what the 4 Ds are is, first of all, find the easy ones, because it's nice to start and build some momentum by ticking a couple of easy ones off the list. And so the first of our Ds is do it now. Are there small things that as you see them, you can just do it right now? They only take a couple of minutes, 5, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever you've got available, and you can tackle it. If you find that they are bigger things, then you'll be onto the second D, which is decide when, and schedule it in. And what I find with the decide when D is to actually break the bigger de-energizers down into bite-sized chunks, so that we've got our very first step, and if we tackle that, then we look at the next step. The third D is delegate. Look for those opportunities where you can delegate or outsource. Think even for me with a teenage child and a tween, kids can be an awesome place to delegate some jobs to, and obviously team members. And the fourth D is about delete or dump it. What I mean by that is we can have things on our list that are old shoulds, things that were important to us, but maybe we've moved on and they're no longer important. I'll give you an example from a previous client of mine. He was a real foodie. He cut recipes out from magazines, and he had this big pile of magazines, and it was on his de-energizer list, and he was like, I must get round to it. And I said to him, it was before ChatGPT, but it was in the day of Google. And I said, if you wanted to find a recipe, what would you do? And he's like, well, I guess I'd Google it. And I'm like, well, do you need the massive stack of magazines with recipes, given that they're not giving you energy? So no, he chose to get rid, delete or dump those. And so that's your fourth D. And that's the process I use to go through de-energizers. And you may also find that it's useful. I had another client who had decided that she would craft out some de-energizer time each week where she would tackle that on a weekly or monthly basis, and that's a useful way to stay on top of them.
Awesome. And so, for the people tuning in today, what key takeaways can they take? What could they implement immediately after listening to this episode?
Well, I think with energy, I'd also like to just briefly mention Lisa O'Neill's book, The Lickable Third. I love Lisa O'Neill. She does wonderful work on energy and inspiration, and she wrote this book called The Lickable Third. Her thesis is that pretty much everywhere in life we can break it down into thirds, be it our relationships, be it our work, be it kind of really any area you think of. We'll find that there's an area that's actually quite shit. And that might be people that you really don't want to hang out with anymore. It might be the part of your job that you hate doing and you're not skilled at, and you just think, oh my God. So there's that third. Then there's a third that is neutral, and you feel, I could take it or leave it. It's got to be done, but not massive energy around it. And then there is what she calls the lickable third, and she calls it the lickable third because it's like, oh, like imagine an ice cream. It's just so delicious. I could lick you. That's the lickable third, and those are the pieces that we just feel are hugely inspiring, give us joy, give us energy, and it is all about how do you find more time to, and put more of what you love in your life, and delete, dump, delegate that shit third, if you like. So that's the thing. And then the final piece around energy is around not just de-energizers, but actually what gives you an energy, be that physical, mental, emotional, spiritual energy. So what do we do that makes us feel well physically and mentally and emotionally? And how do we feel connected with some form of energy that is bigger than ourselves? So spiritually, if you're religious, you're well connected to that. If you're not, then it's about how do you find that connection with something bigger. For me, I love to walk on the beach, and I just feel that expansiveness and that connection with something bigger than me. So it could be nature, it could be listening to inspiring podcasts, it could be real music, anything, that creativity, what lights you up and has you feeling really connected and in the flow. So that's energy. Get rid of the de-energizers, connect more with what is energizing, and really go through that audit. In fact, I have an awesomeness audit that you might like to click on, because it'll also help you to define which areas in your life are working well for you and which ones could use a bit more focus. So check that out. I'll pop that in the comments below, that you can find a link to it, and it's a free resource that you might like. So thanks for joining me. Great to see you, and bye for now.